So here we are, right in the middle of lesson two, the dare to dream. What do I want? Ask, the big ask. And what I want to introduce to you is that there is a perceived risk of actually getting what we want, so much so that to the point that if we were okay, then we would already have what we want. So what I'm going to explain is that what differentiates man from the animal kingdom is something that we call ecology. It is rooted in three fundamental needs: love, safety, and belonging. And it is the critter's brain responsible for making sure that love, safety, and belonging are all intact in the footprint that the critter brain recognizes. So if we have wants, but we don't have them yet, it's going to be related to the fact that there's a risk in actually getting what we want that threatens either my sense of love, my sense of belonging, or my sense of safety. So ecology is a collection of beliefs that are the underlying reasons for being stuck, staying in a pattern, being in a loop. And we're not giving ourselves permission to go after and actually receive what we want. So how many times have you heard you say, I feel this way, I think this way, and I don't know why? Well, this is the explanation as to why. So there are three themes, probably many, many more, but there's going to be three themes in this assignment that explains an ecology resistance to change. The first one is being more comfortable with wanting than having. So the critter brain creates these patterns that keep love, safety, and belonging intact, and the experience of wanting keeps that safe. The experience of having threatens that because it's going to be something new. So some of the reasons that we want and stay in the want is the having is too risky. So this is all in the document, so you don't have to remember it, but I want to explain it to you. The theme number two is about control, the ecology of control. So for many, receiving is a vulnerable experience, and that threatens the love, safety, and belonging network. Giving does not. That keeps me in control. Receiving puts me into a vulnerable state. So as simple as receiving a compliment can trigger like, oh no, I'd rather give all of me to you than for me to demonstrate that I need you. So there's a vulnerability that you are resisting because the ecology of love, safety, and belonging is threatened. Now, the beautiful thing about this, about ecology, is that it's not like our temperament that we can't change. It is modifiable. You can and will be able to expand the experience of where love, safety, and belonging live in your world. Where it is now is based on the years that you've been here, whether you're 20 something or 60 something, that has anchored the pattern that feels that love, safety, and belonging are intact. So the third theme of why ecology will be threatened is this experience of hope. Now, hope is the most incredible core element of being a human being and feeling alive. So if I get what I want and I don't have hope for it anymore, then I've effectively lost hope. So that explains why something that you want for a long, long time, actually happens. And there's this reaction that is like, ooh, I don't feel good. A mother who is pregnant and waiting for her child to be born, and then the child is born, and the hope that that child is born healthy and well and all of that is gone because it has happened. And there's a reaction that is the absence of hope. So how we resolve this is to continue to dream bigger and wider, to reinvigorate hope. So this reignites that feeling of aliveness. So can you, close your eyes and see the times where you feel that if you actually get what you want, you're going to lose the hope that you have in anticipating it? If we have high expectations and the arrival of what we want is a little less than that, is like, disappointment. If we feel vulnerable, then we fight it. Does that sound familiar? And in the first design, that the critter brain is staying in control all the time of keeping love, safety, and belonging intact. So the time here in this lesson is to say, okay, I recognize that. And then without judgment, just pay attention to when it shows up, where you are reacting to limit a growth, a prosperity, something joyful, because the critter brain is saying, we're not in control, we're losing hope. And these will diminish the ability to get what you want. So how do we fix that? How do we influence anything like that? And that's the coaching that you're here for. Transformational coaching is about not just the decision, the behavior, and the outcome, but the programming, identity, and beliefs. So if we go back to lesson 1 and we're on our roadmap and we're seeing that from the very beginning, the time I was in my mother's womb, I start to experience the world through her energy, through her responses, through her stress, through her joy. And we start to establish how we're going to survive in this world. And usually by age 6 to 12, we've got a system in place. My system was to be a hero. The dichotomy of that is that I also became a victim. And, I would not feel that I had any control in my home. My mother was an active alcoholic when I was growing up, as I did the same thing to my children. She's been sober 45 years. I've been sober 18. But we created, the parent creates a space where the child has to decide how to survive. And for me, being a hero was the perfect thing to do. So I would go out in the neighborhood and I would be like the Paw Patrol, Ninja Turtle, whatever heroic icon you can imagine. That was me. And truth be told, your peers don't want a hero. They just want someone to play with. So in my pursuit of surviving, I actually framed my life that I didn't have friends. It was more important for me to be the scout with my cape and stand on tall buildings and than to connect with people. So for a very, very long time, my experience in this world from my programming, therefore my identity, was that I was a lone wolf. I was the lone hero in the neighborhood, and I loved it. But it also created a strong feeling of victimology because, the kids would have a sleepover and I wouldn't be invited, right? And so there's conflict. So our programming, if you're the class clown, if you're, the intellect, the hider, the controller, there's all these different personas that we apply in our journey that helps us survive our particular circumstance. So then there's the belief that corresponds with that. These are my understandings of the world. And for me, because firstborn mom not being sober, the my beliefs was that I had to do this on my own, right? And the beautiful thing about programming, identity, and beliefs is that it's malleable. We can change that. We can influence it. And we can go back and re-experience these things. And we will do this in this transformational process, just not yet. But what I want to introduce now is that the transformational coaching model invites you now to start to pay attention to these things that we're building upon in each week. So last week we talked about the temperaments and how you can't change that. Yet our growth and development is something that we can influence. So when we shift our ecology, that means you shift your beliefs and identity. And when you shift beliefs and identity, you shift the way you experience yourself and the world. So your personal ecology is based on your programming. And what if we were able to understand that? Because the decisions that we make are not random. They're rooted in our ecology, love, safety, and belonging, which is identified and created through our programming, identity, and beliefs. So there's going to be patterns, and our ecology will always create the space that what you believe to be anchoring for your love, safety, and belonging, whether or not the actual behavior is detrimental, the strength of my understanding of my love, safety, and belonging will allow that to happen. So what we're going to do today in understanding this principle is go to the next step, which is about decluttering. Because as we have beliefs, they're deep rooted. What the next step is going to be in the next page is about decluttering our physical, emotional, and thought space. And we do that by literally clearing the clutter. So the segue here is when you create new space for something to arrive, it will. And by decluttering, that's how we're going to make space for the critter brain to give you more permission, to give you more of a footprint, to understand that love, safety, and belonging can have a bigger aspect. And then that allows us to safely look into our life experience. What was it like from the womb to sixth grade that influenced the patterns that we created? And so this video is to help understand that it's vitally important for us to pay attention to these new ideas. Not that we're going to actually insist that we change anything today. It's just the awareness that we're looking for. And so if this makes sense to you, great. If it doesn't and you want to have a conversation, book a 15-minute appointment with me and we'll go over just this one slide, this one lesson aspect with more connection. And I welcome that. So that's an easy button. Just go to the plus appointment and match your calendar to mine, and we can go through this with greater depth. If this makes sense and it resonates with you, bravo. Thank you. Maybe it's because you're in the right place and you're ready for this. If it doesn't make sense and you need more support, That's why I'm here. So enjoy the next section on decluttering and changing our thought mind. And I will see you soon. Thanks so much.